Extending its waiver that allows storm victims to get rid of debris at Pheasant Point at no cost.
As 6 News' Johan Marin reports, it's one of the ways they're trying to ease congestion at the landfill.
The Pheasant Point landfill seen 500 tons of debris come in every day.
Early on, there were a lot of individual loads, pickups, small trailers, things like that.
There are now still plenty of trucks and trailers coming through, and it's causing some congestion problems. One way the county's trying to help is by waiving all dumping fees until May 11th, as officials expect the landfill will continue to be busy as people rebuild.
I think the more that we can do to take some of those worries off of them, some of those concerns, benefits them in the long run.
The county is also working on other temporary ways to relieve congestion.
We're going to do some things differently with staging areas and trying to minimize the amount of congestion at the landfill. And we'll probably also look at how we can potentially separate out some of the debris so that potentially we may have some more recycling opportunities to be able to reuse some materials that normally would be going to the landfill.
Holmes is also asking those outside of city limits to put their debris on the curb. And if you have tree debris, that should be taken to other dumping sites like the Two Rivers Recreation Area.
Materials like tree debris and things like that can be used as mulch when they're ground up and so on.
The recreation area is located off Highway 92nd and South 264th Streets. It's open from 9 to 5. Holmes says if you decide to dump, to know what you can't dump, like appliances and hazardous materials. On your side, I'm Johan Marin, 6 News.